There's a moral revolution going on, going on. There's a moral revolution going on. There's a moral revolution going on, going on. There's a moral revolution going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a moral revolution going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a moral revolution going on. There's a racial justice movement going on, going on. There's a racial justice movement going on. There's a racial justice movement going on, going on. There's a racial justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a racial justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. 'Cause there's a moral revolution going on. And there's an eco-justice movement going on, going on. There's an eco-justice movement going on. There's an eco-justice movement going on, going on. There's an eco-justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's an eco-justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. 'Cause there's a moral revolution going on. And there's a peace and justice movement going on, going on. There's a peace and justice movement going on. There's a peace and justice movement going on, going on. There's a peace and justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a peace and justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a moral revolution going on. And there's a poor people's campaign going on, going on. There's a poor people's campaign going on. There's a poor people's campaign going on, going on. There's a poor people's campaign going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a poor people's campaign going on. And put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. 'Cause there's a moral revolution going on. 'Cause there's a moral revolution, a moral revolution going on, going on. There's a moral revolution going on. There's a moral revolution going on, going on. There's a moral revolution going on.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. Let's go. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Come on, clap it up again. Come on. Hey, 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 hey.
Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live.
We say poverty no more. We want justice for the poor.
Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right
Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a moral revolution going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a moral revolution going on. There's a racial justice movement going on, going on. There's a racial justice movement going on. There's a racial justice movement going on, going on. There's a racial justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a racial justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. 'Cause there's a moral revolution going on. And there's an eco-justice movement going on, going on. There's an eco-justice movement going on. There's an eco-justice movement going on, going on. There's an eco-justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's an eco-justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. 'Cause there's a moral revolution going on. And there's a peace and justice movement going on, going on. There's a peace and justice movement going on. There's a peace and justice movement going on, going on. There's a peace and justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a peace and justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a moral revolution going on. And there's a poor people's campaign going on, going on. There's a poor people's campaign going on. There's a poor people's campaign going on, going on. There's a poor people's campaign going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a poor people's campaign going on. And put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. 'Cause there's a moral revolution going on. 'Cause there's a moral revolution, a moral revolution going on, going on. There's a moral revolution going on. There's a moral revolution going on, going on. There's a moral revolution going on.
Okay, cool. So you'll have a little bit of time. I'm hoping that we can get these passed out to everybody, kind of like right now.
I can take a stack.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. Let's go. Here we go.
Come on, clap it up again. Come on. Hey, 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 hey.
Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live.
We say poverty no more.
We want justice for the poor. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a
Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to breathe. Everybody's got a right to learn. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to love. Everybody's got a right to breathe. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody got a right. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to love. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. We say poverty no more. We want justice for all. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. We say poverty no more. We want justice for all. Everybody's got a right to live. Say, everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to love. Everybody's got a right to breathe. Everybody's got a right to learn. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to love. Everybody's got a right to love. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right. Everybody's got a right to live. We say poverty no more. We want justice for all. Everybody's got a right to
Oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Tell you it's gone on far too long. Oh, somebody's hurting my brother, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Yeah, somebody's hurting my sister, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Tell you it's gone on far too long. Somebody's hurting my sister, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Did you hear somebody's poisoning the water, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Tell you it's gone on far too long. Somebody's poisoning the water, and it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Have you heard somebody wants to build that wall, y'all? And it's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. And we won't be silent anymore. And we won't be silent anymore. Just your voices start clapping. And we won't be silent anymore. Last time, all together. And we won't be silent
Keep going a little bit. Is this on? Can everyone hear me okay? All right. A few people are still coming in. We're going to give it just another couple minutes for folks to get settled, and then we'll get started. In the meantime, we'll listen to some amazing music, all right? Sing along if you want to.
There's a moral revolution going on, going on. There's a moral revolution going on. There's a moral There's a racial justice movement going on, going on. There's a racial justice movement going on. There's a racial justice movement going on, going on. There's a racial justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a racial justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. 'Cause there's a moral revolution going on. And there's an eco-justice movement going on, going on. There's an eco-justice movement going on. There's an eco-justice movement going on, going on. There's an eco-justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's an eco-justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. 'Cause there's a moral revolution going on. And there's a peace and justice movement going on, going on. There's a peace and justice movement going on. There's a peace and justice movement going on, going on. There's a peace and justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a peace and justice movement going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a moral revolution going on. And there's a poor people's campaign going on, going on. There's a poor people's campaign going on. There's a poor people's campaign going on, going on. There's a poor people's campaign going on. Put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. There's a poor people's campaign going on. And put your ear to the ground, feel the power moving around. 'Cause there's a moral revolution going on. 'Cause there's a moral revolution going on, going on. There's a moral revolution going on. There's a moral revolution going on, going on. There's a moral revolution going on.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go. Come on, clap it up again. Come on. Hey, 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 hey.
Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live.
We say poverty no more. We want justice for the poor.
Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. He said poverty no more. We want justice for the poor. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. We say poverty no more. We want justice for the poor. Everybody's got a right to live. Now we're gonna do a little breakdown. You know how? Clap it out for a minute. We're gonna do it one more time. Keep going.
Everybody.
Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. We say poverty no more. We want justice for the poor. Everybody's got a right to live.
Say, everybody's got a right to live.
So glad so many of you came down. This is fantastic. We're glad to see so many of you here. As you can see, the Poor People's Campaign, a big part of it is singing together. People in my tradition, church folk, know that singing together can bring us together, right? There are lots of movements where people sing together to come together. So we're not going to start anything until we have an opportunity to sing together. We're actually going to sing the song that was just up there. You've probably heard it a few times by now if you've been sitting in here. So I'm just going to start it. I'm going to invite you to come on in. But the words are, everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail because everybody's got a right to live. And then we'll maybe break down in the middle, do a little call and response kind of thing, and we'll see how we do. All right. We're even going to do it in the same key, so if your ears are tuned, you're ready to go. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. 'Cause everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. 'Cause everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to dream. Everybody's got a right to live, to live. Everybody's got a right to dream, to dream. Everybody's got a right to love. 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 Come on. Everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. And before this campaign fails, we'll all go down to jail. 'Cause everybody's got a right to live. Everybody's got a right to live. One more time. Everybody's got a right to live. All right. Forward together. Not one step back. Forward together. Not one step back. Forward together.
To the Assembly of the Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. My name is Sarah, and along with my compañera Marisela, I'm going to be doing interpretation in Spanish during the assembly. So I'm going to make a quick announcement in English and in Spanish so we can get set to be a multilingual space, okay? Hola, bienvenidas y bienvenidos a la Asamblea de la Campaña de la Gente Pobre, un llamado al rescate de la moral de Wisconsin. Me llamo Sara y con mi compañera Marisela, que está ahí, voy a interpretar durante la Asamblea, voy a hacer un anuncio en los dos idiomas ahora. We, the poor and dispossessed of this country, communicate in many languages. We are organizing a moral fusion movement across all lines of division, including language. The Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign understands the importance of and is committed to creating multilingual spaces when possible. To that end, we have interpretation in Spanish today. Sometimes working with interpretation means that we need to pause, or that things will take longer than if we were working in only one language. We are moving at the speed of liberation, and slowing down is worth it. We ask that everyone speak slowly and clearly. If anyone needs interpretation equipment, there's a table set up right outside, and Pepe can help you be set up with a transmitter. Thank you, everyone, for helping make a multilingual space. Forward together. Nosotros, la gente pobre y desposeída en este país, nos comunicamos en muchos idiomas. Estamos organizando un movimiento moral que cruce todas las líneas de división, incluyendo idioma. La campaña de la gente pobre de Wisconsin entiende la importancia y tiene la firme determinación de crear un espacio multilingüe y de unirnos a través del lenguaje. Con esta finalidad tenemos interpretación en español e inglés hoy. A veces trabajar con interpretación significa que necesitamos hacer una pausa o que las cosas llevarán más tiempo que si nos estuviéramos comunicando en un solo idioma. Nos movemos a la velocidad de la liberación y creemos que vale la pena ir más despacio. Les pedimos a todos los participantes que hablen lentamente de forma clara y si alguien necesita equipo de interpretación, Pepe está en la mesa en el otro lado de las puertas y puede ayudarte con sacar el equipo y también si tiene algún problema técnico. Gracias a todos por apoyar a hacer un espacio multilingüe. Juntos pa'lante, ni un paso atrás. Gracias.
Hi, everyone. It is so wonderful to be together today with you all. My name is Brittany Reamer. I live in Wausau, and I'm a tri-chair of the Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. Today, we're gathered here in Madison for our mass Poor People's and Low-Wage Workers State House Assemblies, also happening simultaneously in 32 other states across the country in D.C. Woo! That's right. We are here to declare that we will not accept poverty being the fourth leading cause of death in the U.S. In one of the wealthiest countries in the world, poverty is a policy choice. We will not accept the spending of billions and billions of dollars on weapons, war, and genocide that kill hundreds of thousands of other poor people while being told that we do not have enough for health care, for housing, or for food. We are determined to take back the mic from extremism, raise our voices, register and cast our votes as demands. We will mobilize, educate, and engage the millions of infrequent poor and low-wage voters who have not voted in past elections, waking the sleeping giant. Before passing it to my fellow tri-chairs, I want to take a minute to appreciate everyone here in this room and everyone who participated in the march today, and recognize that many, many hands have made it possible for us to gather here. Thank you to everyone, the bus captains, the marshals, volunteers, folks preparing food, the people who made phone calls and passed out flyers, those helping to lead and watch over our young ones, the movement leaders on this stage who will be speaking shortly and sharing their powerful stories, and everyone who has made it a priority to be here today. Thank you to all of the groups, organizations, unions, congregations who mobilized with us for today. Expo, Voces de la Frontera Madison, the Nonviolent Medicaid Army, Wisdom and its affiliates, Ask Me Local 1, Milwaukee Labor Council, Souls to the Polls, Wisconsin Council of Churches, the students and young people from across the state, and so many more. I also just want to take a second, and would all of the Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign Coordinating Committee members raise your hands? Everyone give them a round of applause. Woo! All right. And on this, the anniversary weekend of Bloody Sunday and the Selma to Montgomery March, just a few days before the State of the Union and Super Tuesday, we, the 135 million poor and low income in this nation, are saying from capitals across the country, we won't be silent or ignored anymore.
I'm Petter from Broadhead down in Greene County, and I'm tri-chair of the Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. In a moment, you will hear more about the facts and what our state assembly and legislature has not done, and why those running for the State House to the White House need to know that we are not an insurrection of hate and destruction. We are a resurrection of power and purpose. Our state capitals are not just symbolic, they are the policy hubs whose decisions directly impact people facing systemic poverty and the interlocking injustices. State assemblies, state legislators, and governors make decisions that impact poor and low-wage people, They impact our wages, health care, public education, housing, women's rights, voting rights, and so many others. We are challenging extremism in state governments, and we are challenging poverty and low wages as the fourth leading cause of death. 800 people a day dying. It's a moral, economic, and social crisis that can be abolished. In the Bible, in Deuteronomy chapter 15, it says, "There need not be poor among you." Poverty and low wages are bad political choices, and we cannot be disengaged anymore from the political process. If poor and low-wage people vote at the same rates as others, every political calculation can shift. Reverend Dr. King said at the end of the Selma to Montgomery March, "The great fear of greedy aristocracy in the nation was for the masses of Negro and poor whites to come together and form a voting bloc that could change the economic architecture of the nation." Today, it is white, black, Hispanic, Latinx, Arab, Asian, and indigenous people who now represent more than 80 million voters and over 20 million that have not yet voted. Did you know that the 135 million poor and low-wage people look like this in America today? 60% of black people, 64% of Hispanic and Latinx people, 40% of Asian people, 60% of indigenous people, 33% of white people. Bring us home, Tammy.
My name is FUMC from Milwaukee, and I'm one of 4 quad chairs of the Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign, a national call for more revival. And in a moment, in order to end poverty as the fourth leading cause of death, it will take a moral fusion movement. We are coming together across all lines of division and from every corner of our state. We have folks in the room with us from corner to corner, Racine, all the way to Bayfield, from Eau Claire and La Crosse, Oshkosh and Appleton, Beloit and Janesville, from our poor spaces of housing and our college campuses, from our small towns and rural areas to the city neighborhoods of Milwaukee. In the room today are people fighting for access to health care, for dignified housing, for fair wages, for an end to violence and militarism, to end incarceration, to protect our water, air, and soil, and to save our democracy. We are coming together because we know that even if our struggles look different on the surface, the source of our pain is the same, and that we must build power for the poor.
That's right, that's right.
Our many different issues have no borders. We don't have to accept this policy violence. And so we'll be voting our demands at the ballot box this election season and organizing our communities every day of the year. We know the power state houses have in impacting policy, which is why we demand abolishing poverty as the fourth leading cause of death in the U.S. We demand a living minimum wage of at least $15 an hour.
Come on now.
We demand full and expanding voting rights. We demand no more voter suppression. We demand guaranteed workers' rights and labor rights. We demand health care for all. We demand affordable, adequate housing. We demand an end to gun violence, profit, and proliferation. We demand fully protected women's rights. We demand environmental justice that secures clean air and water. We demand fully funded public education. We demand just immigration laws. We demand no more mass incarceration. We demand an end to militarism. We demand an end to hate, division, and extreme political agenda. And so, if you are of this space, then you know that we are very loud in the direction of facts. that our numbers don't lie. This is a movement of experts, of not only lived experiences, but also people who study policy and understand the numbers that poverty is the fourth leading cause of death.
That's right.
And so these next two speakers, Megan and Miss Audrey, are here to give us some facts of Wisconsin. And again, we are very loud in facts, and we are very correct in our facts.
Hello. My name is Megan, and I'm from Madison and a member of the Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign Coordinating Committee.
Hello, my name is Audrey, and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm with the Poor People Committee campaign.
We're going to share some of the numbers and facts about our home state of Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin, the minimum wage is only $7.25 an hour. An individual must work 102 hours a week to afford a moderate two-bedroom apartment. At that wage, 30% of our workforce is making less than $15 an hour.
In just 7 months, from June to January, more than 230,000 people were cut from Medicaid in Wisconsin, and the cuts continue every month.
175,500 households in Wisconsin are behind on rent or housing payment at the beginning of 2023.
Wisconsin is the state with the highest portion of our population, 37%, living near toxic release facilities. In addition, PFAS contamination has already been detected in over 60 municipal drinking water systems across our state.
Wisconsin is home to 1.9 million poor and low-income eligibility voters who makes up 39% of the electorate. It does not have to be this way. Poverty and low wages are policies shown, not the failure of people.
For example, Wisconsin's legislators continue to refuse to expand Medicaid, leaving billions of dollars of federal funding on the table, denying thousands of people access to health care we need.
And rather than expand access to housing, Wisconsin lawmakers must introduce legislation and would criminalize people for for being unhoused with just jail and time and fees.
Between 2020 and 2023, Wisconsin lawmakers introduced 46 different voter suppression bills.
This is not what we elect them to do. We won't be silenced anymore.
Fight poverty, not the poor. Fight poverty, not the poor. Fight poverty, not the poor. Fight poverty, not the poor.
Now, to put a face on these issues, these numbers are not just numbers. We are people. We call on poor and low-wage workers and faith leaders to testify and to make the case for why it is time to take back the mic from extremists, raise our voices and votes, wake the sleeping giant, and build the movement to end poverty now. We will call up several testifiers at once because in this movement, nobody stands alone. And I'll ask that after each testimony, we simply say together, we won't be silent anymore. And then when the group is done, we can give our affirmation of applause at that time. And so to begin, we invite up Joyce, Jerome, and Saban.
In December of 2023, I knew I might be losing Badger Care. I should explain why I was on Badger Care. My husband is on disability. He has an autoimmune disease that makes him not only unable to work, but in pain almost all the time. I'm also a caregiver for my elderly parents who can't move into assisted living due to financial factors beyond my control. Since I need to make sure they take their pills twice a day, I can't take most jobs. I also can't drive. I'm trying to make a living as a freelance writer, but that income isn't sufficient or predictable. During the pandemic, I could stay on Badger Care, but as the unwinding began, I knew I was in trouble. What pushed me over the limit was one simple thing. My husband's disability was increased by $200 a month. That wasn't enough to cover the increase in house taxes, the fuel bills that went up, or even the grocery bill that went up. But it was enough to kick me off Badger Care. The first note I got said I would be kicked off at the end of January. The next one said the 1st of February. I considered seeing if I could get a hearing. Then I went to fill a prescription and discovered I'd been cut off on the 1st of January. I managed to survive only because my husband also takes the same inhaler I do. Otherwise, without insurance, it would have been thousands. We don't have that. We scrambled to get insurance. The first exchange we checked into said, "You're too late. The time to get new plans is over." Then he said, "Maybe you should wait a year to get insurance." We managed to get a policy for me. It only costs $250 a month. So my husband's pay increase was a cut of $50, plus co-pays. Now we're behind on the house taxes and the electric bill. And I discovered that with my insurance, one of my inhalers is $70 a month. The other is $500. We can't fill that. I want to ask legislators, I want to ask this whole country, what is the social good of throwing people off insurance and pushing more people into poverty, unless they think the social good would be people like me dying?
Good afternoon. My name is Jerome Dillard, and I am here today representing Ex-Incarcerated People Organizing, Expo. And today I just want to touch on two things that makes my skin crawl, and that is prison gerrymandering and felony disenfranchisement. Prison gerrymandering is wrong. It is wrong to count individuals who are incarcerated in certain counties and cities as citizens of those places.
Right.
There's great benefits to having 75% of your citizens in Waupun as citizens of Waupun who cannot take advantage of the services that are giving to that town because of the numbers that they're reporting in the census. Some counties, 80% of the individuals who are incarcerated in that county, Juneau County, 80% are individuals who are incarcerated in that county. But what further bothers me is the fact that in the state of Wisconsin, you cannot vote until you complete your sentence, meaning the terms that you get to be inside and the terms that you're under community corrections surveillance or supervision. We have roughly 50,000 working 50,000 citizens in the state of Wisconsin who are working, paying taxes, taking care of their families, but yet and still they cannot cast a ballot on who's on their children's school board or on who represents the community they live in. But yet and still, these are tax-paying citizens. It ain't right. And in the state of Wisconsin, the average terms of supervision is 8 to 10 years of working in the community, paying taxes and not being able to cast a ballot. I have lived experience. I know how it makes you feel. It makes you feel that you're not part of America. That's right. When you look at your check and all these taxes and FICAs and everything's coming out of there, but not benefiting you at all because you have no say. And then when it comes to wages, individuals who are incarcerated in our state are making 11, 22, and a good paying job is $1 an hour. Wow. It's not right. I just wanted to raise up those two issues because many of those who are behind our walls and fences are poor people. They were deemed indigent when they got a public defender. This is not right, and it has to stop now. I just want to close with every state that borders Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois. You can vote when you return to your community after incarceration, no matter how long you have to do on supervision. What is wrong with us, Wisconsin? I'm going to eat there.
Bonjour. Anin. That's another way of greeting, and it means, I see your light. Anin. I see all of your light. All of your light. Your light. Beautiful. I'm going to hold this because it's not really a safe place for this, but this is important. I also heard something today that I just so loved. I don't know if any of you noticed I was doing this. No, it's okay. I need to do it. Not one step back, right? That's what happens when we do a water walk as well. Not one step back. Sigwan nodanans indigena kaz migizien dodem odawa zayaganing ojibwe onishinabe kwe indao menomini zayaganing indojagba neju medeo. I just greeted you, gave you my whole introduction in our sacred language, Ojibwe Moen. And that is a sacred language to us. It was almost taken away from us. My Anishinaabe name means the warm breeze of spring, and my English name is Siobhan Marks. I'm Eagle Clan and a lineal descendant of the Lakudere Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa, otherwise LCO, on my mother's side. I also have French, Irish, English, and Lithuanian ancestry. My maternal grandmothers were born up north in Rice Lake, LCO, and Flambeau. My mother and I were born in Chippewa Falls, and I am second-degree Medewan. I was raised in poverty. I mean true poverty. We grew up in the country, up in Chippewa Falls, and we didn't have running water at our house. We had an outdoor pump that froze every winter, so we melted snow to do our dishes or to take what my grandma would call a spit bath, otherwise known as a sponge bath. And we drove into town to haul water from a local laundromat. My parents worked very hard for us, and although we went without many things, we had a large garden. My mom taught us how to can, how to freeze. We all worked in that garden. So we always had food, and we had a lot of love, and for that we were incredibly lucky. As an Anishinaabe Kwe, it is my responsibility as women to stand up for the water. So that is really what I came here to do. But in standing up for the water, I don't want you to think that that's not standing up for the people. It is all about people. I carried this copper vessel today with water, and it's water that I gathered with prayer in Asema, that's our tobacco, from Little Muskego Lake, which is near our home. And as we all know, or we should know by now, we are on the lands and waters that were stolen from our native ancestors, who cared for them for tens of thousands and thousands of years before European contact. So I came here to speak up for the water. Those are my teachings. And to let us all know, or perhaps remind you, that there actually was a time when the purest, cleanest, healthiest water to drink didn't come from a bottle like this. It came from a lake. Our waters were once clean and pure and free for all. But that is no more. Big industry has polluted our water and our mother, the earth. The pipeline companies and other extraction companies, too. Municipalities run water through old lead pipes that they aren't addressing, or they're too slow in addressing, leaving our most vulnerable families and neighborhoods left with no other recourse but to drink lead-contaminated water. Family farms pollute our water, and also the livestock they raise, and even modifying our natural foods. That beautiful water that holds so much life, it struggles every day against an immense army of those who wish to do her harm, all in the name of profit. Then they pump that water out of her, and they run it through million-dollar filtration systems to undo the damage that has been done. And finally, they package it in plastic. This is purified drinking water. And they sell it back to us. And we've allowed that. When I was a little girl, I'm sure there's many, many in this beautiful space that we're all sharing that can remember a day when we weren't going to the store and buying our water in plastic. We were able to trust it was coming out of the pump. So they sell it back to those of us who are the most vulnerable in health and the least likely to be able to afford it. We have to pay for our water or go without. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the march, I see it all the time in gas stations. We stop to get gas, and then I'll go inside and I see sugary drinks that are less expensive than bottled water. I used to hold this up and say, this is the enemy. It's really not the enemy. It's what the companies have done to us and what a great many of us have allowed to happen. Certainly not anyone in this room. But that plastic is damaging our oceans and our planet too. So we stand up for her, that beautiful water, our precious nebe, that's how we say it in Ojibwe language, because she is life. Water is life. We were all born of water. Our mothers carried us in their wombs in water. As human beings, we are mostly water, and we need water to live. Clean water is a basic human right that we all deserve, not just the rich, but all. Miigwech.
Somebody is hurting our people.
It's hurting our people.
And it's gone on.
And it's gone on.
For far too long.
Far too long.
And we won't.
And we won't.
Be silent.
Be silent.
Anymore.
Anymore.
And so in this space, we actually don't clap. Those are not good things to clap about. No one having health care, not having clean water, mass incarceration. The next speakers that we bring up in this space is Vicki Berenson, Reverend Greg Lewis, Victoria Wiley, and Veronica Burton.
Hi, my name is Vicki Berenson. I wear many hats, including this one. I'm active with Safe Skies, Clean Water, Wisconsin in Madison, and also World Beyond War. And I am a member of the Friends meeting in Madison, the Quakers. Earlier this week, I was sitting at my desk inside my well-insulated home about 3 miles from the airport when I was startled by a rapidly approaching and really loud and incredibly expensive F-35 fighter jet that felt like it was right on top of my house. Then another and another. At these moments, which are not infrequent, I am filled with empathy for people in Ukraine, Gaza, Israel, Yemen, Russia, and so many places who are not just startled, but absolutely terrified that the bombers or rockets or drones might actually destroy their homes or kill them, and they do. I am a Jewish Quaker. Being Jewish means that I come from an ethnic group that has been persecuted, vilified, and killed over many centuries by many different people, and that same anti-Semitism is with us today. I am the daughter of a Nazi Holocaust survivor. I have family in Israel. They grieve for the Israelis lost and taken hostage in the Hamas attack, and they protest against their government. I fear for their safety as this war continues. I have friends and colleagues with loved ones in Palestine, and I grieve for their losses as their country is being destroyed. I fear for Jews and Arabs and people of color everywhere who are increasingly targets of anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and racist attacks. And it doesn't stop there. My 13-year-old niece in Ohio has Russian classmates who were harassed by other children when the war in Ukraine began. No matter where your sympathies lie in these conflicts, it is clear that war is not the answer. And I have a sign there. Quakers have an expression, let love be the first motion. Obviously, violence is not working. We can look at history and we can look at what's going on today to see that war fosters hate and resentment, which erupts again and again in a cycle of violence. While it's clear that some people are hurting more than others, we are all oppressed by this culture of violence and the competition for dominance, both globally and within our own country, as we arm and train police as though they are militias. Quakers' peace testimony tells us we need to act to take away the occasion for war. One thing I will continue to do is pressure my country's leaders to use our considerable power, wealth, and influence to prevent wars, not spend half our tax dollars to purchase weapons and then encourage their use by instigating and prolonging military conflict around the world. They say it's to protect our way of life. My way of life is to use our wealth to support health care and education, eliminate poverty, uphold our civil rights, protect our planet, and create spaces where everyone can feel equally valued and safe. Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm a Reverend Pastor, Minister Greg Lewis, and I'm the founder and president of an organization called Pastors United. I'm also president of Souls to the Polls, Wisconsin, and I'm also the board of directors for Power to the Polls, Wisconsin. And we believe that it is so very, very important that you are here today to help fight for my community. We can't let people keep separating us. We can't stop talking to each other. We have to find a reason why we want to fight, and we have to find that reason right now. I know why I fight. I know why I stand up. And his name is Clifford McKissick.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You can do it. You can do it.
When I was 9, I sat on my porch during the civil disturbance in Milwaukee, 1967. And Clifford was on his porch, and he walked to his back door. And when he slammed that door, a barrage of gunshots killed Clifford. Clifford was the first kid on our block to go to college. We all thought we couldn't go to school, but he was our hero. And we all said, man, I'm going to college. Because we saw Clifford do it. And he was slain that summer, and they lied and said he was doing something wrong. I have a reason to fight. From that day, I think I blacked out for about 2 or 3 years because I was so traumatized by finding out that people just don't care about us poor folks. They didn't care about us at all. So you have to find a reason to fight like me. Look inside yourselves, because we have to fight hard this time. We cannot give up. We cannot stop fighting. We have to fight back. We can't take this anymore. Don't let them keep us separated. Don't do it. Talk to your brother. Talk to your sister. Tell them what your life is all about. You are the doctors, and we need you in my community. We in critical condition, on life support, intensive care. We're on a breathing machine. It's cold red, cold blue, cold black. My community is dying, and you have the solution to bringing that community back alive. Don't stop. Don't quit. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't matter. You're the most important people in this world right now. You have the power, and you can make it happen. The vote is coming up, and it's the greatest equalizer in our country. I don't care who you are, what you own, how much wealth you have, you only get one. We have the numbers. We have to understand that we have the power. We don't have to build a block. The block is already there. Yes. Rip Van Winkle, wake up! We are the victory that I see coming. Yes.
To follow that, boy, woo! Woo, woo, woo. That was very good, thank you. Woo. Okay, so as one of your fellow citizens, I am here today as a highly educated, honorary degreed person who is low wealth. Yeah, let me tell you about me. So at the age of 65, I served 38 years in debtor's prison. I am out now at 65. But I have no wealth. Isn't that fun, right? So I come from a background of coming from a great state of Wisconsin, where I've been gone for many years. I'm back here now caretaking my mother who's got advanced cancer. And I know all about advanced cancer because I've had it twice. And I'm telling you that that set me on a financial downspin like you would not believe. All right? So I'm going to tell you a little bit what happened around that. Here's a little history lesson for some of you young ones in the crowd. The older boomers in the crowd will know this history very well. So I graduated from high school, New Berlin, Eisenhower High School in 1976, and many of my peers went on to college right after that. And so they benefited from a tuition that was probably at the time average around $5,500. Yep. This is pre-1980s. So what happened in the 1980s? Well, most of my peers got their funding for their tuition through the great state of Wisconsin. Why? Because many of you know, at that time, we were proud of our educational system here in this state. It was well run and it was well funded to our citizens in this state. So most of us boomers got our education paid for by the state and by the federal government. That changed in the 1980s, and that's when I went to school. Not like the rest of my boomer friends. So in the 80s came, that's when there was a movement across this country, and it hit Wisconsin hard when no longer was the state and the federal government going to fund our young people for schooling. No. Not anymore. That had started out in California and it swept around across our country like crazy. And so what has happened now over these decades, it's no longer the government paying for your college education, it's you, the individual, and you're leaving school in thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. Now you ask me, why am I here today? My student loan's gone. I'm here for the young people. And this government ain't happening, it ain't doing it. So what has happened is that in 2008, the department, there was the banking crisis that maybe many of you know about. Well, our government, the federal government, decided to buy all the loans. They bought all the loans from the banks. And guess who's the bank now? The Department of Ed. That's who's the bank, all right? So now, guess how much you guys, the boomers, we paid $5,500. Guess what the kids today are paying? $31,000 or more. And that's not even the interest involved. That's not right. Whew. So where the hell did I come from? I came from the south side of Milwaukee. I had a grandmother who had 13 kids, a single parent during the Depression. Figure that one out. And you know what the message my family gave me? To get ahead in this country, you gotta get an education, right? You gotta move up to get the money, you gotta get the education. All right, so then what happened? What happened to our people pre-1980 when the government, we were fine, state and the feds were fine for paying our college education, but then it changed. Now we're responsible for it. It's on our backs. And it was on my back for 38 years, a ball and chain hanging around my neck. Whew. All right, well, I'm on to some more here. I am on to some more. So I'm fucking pissed off. I am pissed off at this system who told me, this country, who told me to get an education, right? Well, I followed that system's instructions, and guess what happened to me? I ended up in poverty. Wow. That's what's happened to me. Wow. Again, honorary degree, master's degree. I'm in poverty. Living homeless, eating rice. Wow. Okay? Knowledge is power, people. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is liberty. Hear this out. They're doing something to our education system. Yep. And you know what? It has to call POC, people of color. That's what happened to this country. Before the 1980s, it was mostly white people in school. And you know what? Who's got the highest education rate today? It's African Americans. And you know who's got the highest debt in this country? African American women. So yeah, we're keeping our people in poverty. That's what we're frickin' doing here. So this is why I am here as a student loan justice activist, and I'm voting, and I'm joining with the Poor People's Campaign, and I'm demanding that debt that can't be paid should be canceled. And that economic justice for the poor, health care for all, come on. Child care. What happened to our child care benefit in this state? So I say forward together and not one step back.
Right.
Lord.
Lord, Lord, Lord.
Oh, I just want to stand with you.
Ooh, Lord. Name is Veronica Burton from Beloit. I'll make this real quick again. First off, our problem, we don't have common sense. You all here, beautiful. As the young lady said, see the light. You all see the issues that we have in here. And like Reverend Barb said, we cannot be loud and wrong. That's one. And personally, I want to say thank you, Sarah. Today, it's the 1-year anniversary of my mother passing.
Bless you.
So all this week, I've been telling my family, poor people family, I haven't been feeling well. That's why, and I thank you for that. I work at a child care center. I can repeat everything everyone said here, but we know the issues. I'm hurting. Once again, you all are hurting. The most thing that really kind of ticked me off is me being a family service worker, and I'm supposed to help those families that I can't. To have a child literally getting threatened to get kicked out of our school because a mom got kicked off of medical, wow, and she could not give that baby asthma. Do you know how hurting that was?
Wow.
$7 is our living wage here. You have to literally work 2 hours just to get orange juice. Sad. That is a hard facts. And what I truly found out, I can go on and say all the hurt. I had a stroke 9 years ago. A couple of you all know that. And the grace of God, I'm standing here right now. Right. So I am pissed. My mom died 1 year ago of cancer and liver failure. And what I would tell you all, the pharmaceuticals, they're laying in bed with our politicians. Educate yourselves.
Right.
You young people, you are needed. You are the future.
That's right.
Mobilize.
That's right.
Get that anger I feel here, it's personal. So that anger have to be moved, mobilized. I'm repeating myself, and I thank God. 2 years ago, when I was finding my issues working at the child care center, hurting, crying every day, and Poor People Campaign fell in my lap. And I am not alone. We all are not alone. Voice your opinion. And I was at the, I go around walking, going to shelters, feeding shelters, and I was at a shelter the other day, giving someone information about the Poor People Campaign. I gave him our flyer of facts, and the first thing he said to me was, I'm a Trump supporter. Did you know what I said? You're here eating free food, right? What does that mean? You're in poverty, right? A lot of people, it does not matter. Democrat, Republican, it does not matter. This is nonpartisan. Once again, you cannot be loud and wrong. We are getting divided. They do not want us to talk to each other. Because that young man that was sitting next to me, he looked nothing like me, period. Tattoos everywhere. If I would have facilitated you, we would never have that conversation. But one thing I know for sure, we all have one thing in common, poverty. From education, food, water, it all. We all are in this together. Mobilize. Once again, you people, young folks, you are needed. It was those young folks who did a lot of the work in 1960 when the Poor People Campaign first started. It was those young folks. We are here fighting for you all. Talk about it. You all, your babies. You have to think about your babies, your grandkids, how you want them to grow up. This isn't good, and it's getting worse. I would tell my daughters, I have old folks, call them old folks. I had more rights than my daughters. 25, 27, if you all know what I'm talking about. I had more rights than my kids. What in the hell? 50 years old, I had more rights than my kids did? Does that make sense? And something else I noticed, just with the babies. App. McDonald's app. Picking the kids up, meal, $5. In Beloit, one side, that whole meal was $5.25, but you go to the other side of Beloit, $10.97. Does that make sense? That's happening, price gouging everywhere. Everywhere. So once again, mobilize. Spread your feelings, thoughts, and pain. Get into that good trouble because it's needed. So once again, we all know common sense is not so common. But what the Poor People Campaign will do, what Reverend Barr said, cannot be loud and wrong. We have the stacks. And if all of us go out there and do what we're supposed to do, everything's gonna be okay. So I have a dream, and that dream says we're gonna be okay. Walk that walk, talk that talk, and get the moving and mobilize. That's all.
Thank you all for still being with us. We have 3 more testimonies left, and it's important. You know, why do we do this? Why do we slow down and tell our stories and hear our stories? Because our stories matter. And so we're not doing this enough. We're not hearing each other's stories enough. Our last 3 testimony speakers are Rodolfo, Joyce Alwinger, and Kelly Mahoney. Sorry, and Mark.
So my name is Rodolfo Barca, and I live in Beloit, Wisconsin, where we actually have America's richest self-made woman, and we also have double the poverty rate of the rest of the state. There are hundreds of kids in our school district that are homeless right now. Actually, I remember seeing my aunt cry when I was younger. She was crying because she had just lost her home and had nowhere to go. She had 2 kids with her, both under the age of 6. Luckily, she was able to find someone who loaned her their garage where she could stay for a while. I'm involved because corporations have gotten too much power because power is concentrated into the hands of a few. I remember being forced to work over 70 hours a week, and if I decided to take a day off, they've called me ungrateful or unreliable. It's not like I even asked to take I didn't take many days off either because I needed to work overtime just to pay the bills. I'm also involved because my brother, the recent Medicaid cuts, has lost his Medicaid. Because my mom, she's scared to go to the doctors because she can't afford the costs. And because my grandma is 70 years old and she's still working, unable to retire.
That ain't right.
Yeah, it ain't right. I'm involved because my city is becoming more and more segregated by the day, where the public school system or school district below has 30% white people, while across town, the other school district has 70+% white people, and it's only increasing the gap. I will keep fighting for every politician that is lobbied, for every election that is won, but I will keep on fighting, I will keep on mobilizing voters, and I will keep on making noise until we are heard. The Poor People's Campaign means a lot to me because I want a democracy that is fair. I want a democracy where everyone has health care, where all workers make a living wage. That's why I vote, and that's why I will keep on making noise. Thank you.
I'm Joyce. I'm here with Milwaukee Intercity Congregations Allied for Hope, MICA, and the 11 affiliates of Wisdom, statewide congregation-based organizing, as well as Expo, prison-impacted people. I grew up poor in the foothills of the Ozarks, no electricity or running water. You've heard other people talk about what that's like, walking 3.5 miles to school on an unpaved road in feed sack dresses that my aunt sewed for me. I've lived for 56 years in Milwaukee now in a low-income poverty community in the inner city. I've known what poverty feels like. I've lived long enough to get the connection between poverty and incarceration, this intertwining systems that puts profits before people and punishes rather than restores. I spent time in a federal prison in Danbury, Connecticut, as far away as they could send me. And when I got there, I was told, we don't like protesters here, and we don't have a bed for you. You're going to solitary confinement. And I was there for 17 days in the hole before I was called again and said I was being assigned not to the prison farm where I was sentenced to be, but behind the barbed wire of the minimum of the medium security prison. I had no power to block that injustice, but this is mild treatment compared to what many of my siblings are experiencing in Wisconsin prisons right now. Waupun is our oldest prison. It's been in lockdown for a year. Parts of it are condemned as unlivable, but those unlivable conditions also exist in the occupied cells. People doubled up. 2 people often in a 1-person cell still. Inability to flush the toilets for several hours, lest the system fail completely. Rats running under your bed and roaches crawling over you as you try to sleep. Cold meals served in the cells. Lack of showers and rec time outside the cells. And meds not received regularly, if at all. And the parole system is basically shut down for old law prisoners. Those are people who've been in prison at least 23 years since 2000 when we went to truth in sentencing. They're getting longer defers rather than recommendations for release at their parole hearings these days. Only 37 people were paroled last year, compared to well over 100, 135, 137 in years past. Those sentenced under truth in sentencing since 2000 are experiencing long sentences with little or no possibility now of earned early release, and equally long community supervision after release. This is unjust and unacceptable. Did you hear me?
Yes.
What is it? What is the truth about policies toward people in our prisons? They're unjust and unacceptable. Crimeless revocations, which account for well over 1/3 of the people who are being admitted to our prison system. Did you hear that? Crimeless, no crime, just a rule violation of their probation. Like accepting a job without prior permission or missing an appointment. What is this? Unjust. Alternatives to incarceration, like mental health and drug treatment courts, need to grow and be fully funded. And we need money back in our community for community-based support services for returning citizens and all practical, doable ways to decrease our prison population. The Department of Corrections is putting more guards in our understaffed prisons, and they want to build a new prison. That's their response. What do we need? We need less people in prison. What do we need, folks? We need
Hi, I'm Kelly Mahoney. I'm from Eau Claire, and I'm also here representing Expo, Ex-Incarcerated People Organizing. In the Chippewa Valley, HS, and Prevea hospitals are going through a closure. There are 1.4 thousand workers who are expected to be laid off across 21 facilities with these closures. Closing these hospitals, emergency rooms, the cancer center, maternity wards, psychiatric, and dialysis units will all have a dramatic impact on everyone in western Wisconsin region. Lives will be lost. A press release estimated the 2 hospital closures will mean more than 900 pregnant people will need to find a different hospital for their delivery. The closures will also impact at least 50 dialysis patients, over 100 cancer patients, and will mean the loss of more than 20 inpatient psychiatric beds, including the only unit serving adolescents. These closures could also impact other businesses in our area that support them, creating more of ripple effects in the local economy. We already have gaps in healthcare with mental health in our rural care. Ellie Phillips Treatment Center has already closed. Ellie Phillips is the only detox and treatment center for individuals in our community struggling with addiction. And I'm not even sure where the next one is. Many wouldn't have transportation to get there. This has been a vital part of the recovery community, and many lives have been saved here. This leaves vulnerable members of our community without the necessary support systems. These closures not only compromise the health and well-being of those seeking help, but also place additional strain on emergency services and other healthcare providers. I was just at an appointment the other day, and without the closures already happening, the emergency room had people waiting in the hallway and some people outside. It is going to have a huge impact. They held NA and AA meetings there that people relied on. With COVID, a lot of the resources and meetings stopped, so they already have less places to meet, and now these meetings were taken. A friend of mine made a comment, so more people like us will just die, with nowhere to go. It is going to have an impact on communities struggling with addiction and mental health. As we know, substance abuse not only affects only the individuals directly involved, but also their families, friends, and colleagues. The absence of a specialized facility creates a void in the community's ability to address and combat the opioid epidemic and other substance abuse issues effectively. We risk witnessing strained emergency services and a decline in overall public health. Ellie Phillips has been open since 1977, and now it's just gone. Individuals reentering from incarceration have relied on the support of Ellie Phillips and attended these meetings. I have attended meetings there, and it is one less resource when we're already in desperate need of more. As an individual who has lived experience and struggled with mental health issues, I know the struggles of trying to find a care provider, and in many situations have had to wait months to get in. At many points in my life, I didn't have months. These are lives that we are talking about, and we have to do better for our communities, especially those struggling that need help, and to have it accessible for them. Individuals in our rural communities already have to travel. They're concerned about where they will go for care. The questions are, how do we fund public health systems? People are scared. They're scared in our community, and at the moment, imagine the fear of losing the most basic right of access to health care. Imagine re-entering into your community in desperate need of services so that you can make it through another day and to better your life. I have been there, and it's close to impossible to do without support.
One step forward. One step forward. Naroi Benezi Indigenous Namendo Dem Anishinaabe Endao Neopid Indonjaba, the place I am from. A few years ago, I found myself in front of this microphone, and it wasn't my idea. It was somebody else's. And then again, a few months later, I found myself on Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C., speaking to a national gathering of the poor people's folks. Again, not my idea. So I wanted to conclude some of the remarks here that you've heard on stage. As I've watched and listened to this over several years, something's brought you to this place. And that something is that every single person in this room has a story of poverty. Every single person in this room has a story where one story does not rise above another's. We are equal in this impoverishment of the body, of the mind, of the spirit, and of finances when the destroyer finds us. And so in this last comment, I would say this. I am a Dewan. That means the way of the heart, one of the oldest religions in the state of Wisconsin. Our responsibility is to speak for those who are unborn and those who are dead. Those are our two responsibilities. And when I think in that moment and in this moment, just 3 blocks from where my daughter had lived, my daughter went to the University of Wisconsin here in Madison. Again, her home 3 blocks away. She was a child of poverty, and she lived in poverty. But yet she went to a school whose budget is $3.1 billion a year. And when her brother completed his suicide, she went to the university for help. I'm having thoughts of suicide. She did not live a week after she asked for help. This is what poverty does. It impoverishes everyone. From the counselors that refused her service, to the people who were at her services, and to all of the students that have been refused mental health services, food services, housing services, all in the effort of education. That's right. All in the effort of trying to move forward. To speak for the dead and to speak for the unborn. My daughter was carrying a child. To speak for the dead and to speak for the unborn. Poverty has visited each and every single person in this room. And to move forward, we have to remember that saying that we have and that you just said. One step forward.
Well said, Mark. Well said.
Yes, Lord.
Somebody is hurting our neighbor. And it's gone on. Far too long. And we won't. And we can't. Be silent. Anymore. We can't. We have to come together. The last piece is our faith litany from many different spaces of religion. Faith doesn't divide us. Faith, no faith. We're all welcome in this space. Hopefully we have faith in each other. But faith community can come up as you lead us out today to what we are to become and be. Those who are coming up, Susan Anderson, Robert Michael Wall, Jim Murphy, Greg, and Reverend Greg Lewis can stand with them as well.
Hello, I am Reverend Susan Myoyu Anderson from the Great Plains Zen Center in Monroe, Wisconsin. With a collective spirit of unity simultaneously across the nation and unwavering resolve, we come together today to take back the mic from extremists, to raise our voices and votes and make our power felt from the State House to the White House to wake the sleeping giant. In the Buddhist faith, we speak of the embodiment of compassion as the one who hears the cries of suffering in the world. We have heard powerful testimony. We have heard those cries. We must embody the heart of compassion by respond by demanding that our elected officials enact the policy that brings about an end to poverty as the 4th leading cause of death.
I'm Rabbi Michal Wall from Congregation Shir Hadash in Milwaukee. I am honored to be here and to witness the testimony that we've heard. As Peter quoted in chapter 15, the book of Deuteronomy, Torah, that's my word, tells us, "There shall be no needy among you, for you will be blessed." Yet just 2 verses later, the text continues, "If, however, there is a needy person among you, do not harden your heart or shut your hand against your needy kin. Rather, you must open your hand and provide whatever is sufficient to meet the need." Our holy text understood our situation can change in a moment, but did not tolerate anyone being impoverished for more than a moment. Free everyone from the sea to the river. May we all be free in equality and rights. Thank you. Our holy text did not tolerate anyone being impoverished for more than a moment, and certainly could not fathom our culture that not only allows, but by design creates sustained poverty over generations. Every faith tradition calls us to defend the rights of the poor. Our Constitution requires us to establish justice and promote the general welfare of all. We refuse to accept poverty as the 4th leading cause of death. We demand justice, compassion, and unity as we stand together across races, creed, color, religion, sexuality, and geography. Forward together.
Forward together, we will take back the mic. We will voice our demands and register our votes, which make up more than 30% of the nation's electorate. We demand an end to poverty as the 4th leading cause of death. We demand a living wage of at least $15 an hour. Forward together.
Not one step back. We demand an end to voter suppression and an expansion of voter rights. We demand fully funded public education for all. We demand health care for all. We demand affordable and adequate housing. We demand worker and labor rights. And we demand the protection of women's rights to their bodies. Forward together, not one step back.
We demand an end to gun violence. We demand clean air and water. We demand environmental justice. We demand just immigration laws. We demand love and justice, not hate and violence, guide our public policy. Forward together.
Not one step back.
We will not let the shadows of hate and apathy linger until we all and each of us have what we need to live and thrive. Our work is not done. Until there are no more deaths from poverty, our work is not done.
That's right.
Together, we must and we can take back the mic, come together across all divisions, raise our collective voices, and say enough is enough.
That's right.
We will make the sleeping giant wake up. We will wake the heart of compassion. We are not an insurrection, we are the resurrection, and we won't be silent anymore.
That's right, that's right.
Forward together.
And so where do we go from here? We only can be united in these times, y'all. That is the only way. Outside those doors, if the coalition ends outside those doors, then we've done something wrong in this space. If the coalition ends outside those doors, then we did not hear everyone's stories up here. That's right. If the coalition ends outside of those doors, that means we give ourselves to hate. We give ourselves to division. And we give ourselves to chaos. And so it is important and vital for all of us to stick together. And what does that look like for us going forward? For us, we're 40 weeks out until this country goes out and votes. And today we've demonstrated that 32 plus states, including the District of Columbia, can come together and rally to highlight poverty as the fourth leading cause of death. But there must be much more than that. We'll have to not only gather together and be loud and share our stories, we'll have to continue each and every day to connect with each other, to organize, to mobilize, to register, to educate, and to do the very things needed to push our movement forward, because poverty is killing us at the end of the day. And as you heard, it's touching every single one of our lives, every single one of our communities, every single one of people we love.
That's right.
And so our objective going forward is to go forward together. Like we have to. So what's the next steps we're taking? We're going to DC June 15th. And we're going together. We're going to connect with 32 plus states.
That's right.
If we do this right, our leaders are talking about poverty and not issues that we don't care about. I'm tired of the hate against each other.
Right, right.
I'm tired of the division against each other.
Yes.
Poverty cannot win.
Right.
False religious nationalism cannot win.
That's right. Come on now.
And so we have to come together. That's what June 15th is about. And this is only going to happen if we connect together, if the coalitions get bigger and bigger.
Right.
And if we all go to DC together.
Yes.
And not only that, come back and organize in our communities each and every single day. Again, that's what we're about. As you can see, the leaders are growing and the movement is building.
Yes, yes.
We'll have more instructions as we go and as we eat. That's where we're going, so that's where we're headed. A movement that votes on our issues, on our demands, and not dividing each other, not hating each other, because obviously that's not working for our country.
All right, y'all. As I started this, I'm going to end this with the same thing. It is so wonderful to be here with y'all today. So happy to see so many people in this space with us, so many people gathering with us at the Capitol. And I just want to give y'all just a reminder. This is a space of respect. We respect one another, right? If you know, it takes a lot of courage to come up here and speak and to tell our stories and to talk about our different faith traditions and to bring those into these spaces. And I just want to remind everybody, you know, we respect one another, and you know, just keep that in mind in these spaces, in the spaces outside, and as we go out into the world. Be decent, be good. And spread love. We need more love. No more hate. No more hate.
That's right.
So I have a couple of announcements. We have a couple of lovely ladies over here who are going to have a table right outside the door. If anybody wants to tell their stories, they can give you all a hand with that. And I want to encourage the folks who are on the Beloit bus to go into the dining hall now and grab your food. The bus is going to be here at 2:15 to pick you all up. So if you're hungry, go in there now and grab your food. So the dining hall is out the doors, these doors here to the left, and then just keep going around. We have food for all different dietary needs and restrictions. So we have some meat, we have vegetarian, vegan options, and there are a bunch of folks in there to give you all a hand. If we have anybody who has accessibility needs, hopefully the marshals will be able to put their vests back on, and anybody who has a yellow vest will be able to help you do that. So again, thank you all so much for being here today. All right, we're gonna chant us out. Ready? Forward together! Forward together!